Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Rosowitz, and today I'm going to be discussing my presentation for my Capstone Project for my Master's in Communication from Arizona State University. So I'm really excited today to have the opportunity to share a little bit of background on this Capstone Project and my current focus area of study. So throughout the course of this program, we've had the opportunity to really dive into communication as a whole when we talk about interpersonal communication, leadership, the ability to demonstrate certain affectations that make you a better leader, better negotiator, the ability to communicate globally, things of that nature. In getting to the final few classes throughout the course of my program, I really was getting interested in the idea of online communication. Obviously, it's something we know is going to continue to increase and probably become the key mode of communication if we're being realistic as things move forward. And so I really started looking into that. So for my study specifically, I am interested in the prevalence of virtual communication, specifically when it comes to news distribution and people's perceived credibility of the information they're receiving, as well as leadership and the ability to influence through virtual and online communication. Part of the reason that I find this to be so interesting is I currently work for a very large corporation, and I have peers across multiple states, multiple countries, actually business partners, and a large portion of all of our communication is done virtually. And it's very key that we have the ability to understand the tone, the confidence level, the leadership of an individual, maybe just through writing or online communication. And then along those same lines, it's really imperative that we begin to get the next generation who is only going to be used to a lot of online communication through social media, things of that nature, to think not only about the way they communicate, maybe when they're speaking with their friends, but the ways that we as individuals, as we continue to grow, can develop those skills so that we present ourselves well in the workplace through online communication. And then part of the reason that I was also interested in the news distribution piece is ultimately the influx of messaging is just increasing. And I think in order to establish who you are as a leader and develop your character, a lot of that comes from the information you receive. And so if you're first and foremost not able to level set on what you believe in, the authenticity of the messages you're receiving, it'll be very hard to then yourself become a leader of character and take those positive skills into the work that you're actually doing. So again, the prevalence of virtual communication in today's society, specifically when it comes to determining the credibility of news sources, as well as making adjustments to your own personal online and virtual communication skills in order to develop yourself as a leader, that is my really main area of focus. So the purpose of my paper, ultimately I created the research paper based off of a literature review of many different topics related to this. And I really wanted to determine what are our credibility challenges across different types of sources of information online. So we looked at distribution of medical information, we looked at candidates during elections, things of that nature. And then from there, we also talked about what are the things that, when I'm perceiving that messaging, make it more effective at not only capturing my attention, but ultimately making me feel as though this person were trustworthy. So a lot of it had to do with followership and likability, which we sort of already expected. If a voice is loud, I think people tend to think it's credible, and that's not always the case. But then there were some interesting findings related to that as well, where ultimately, if I am more familiar with a source, whether or not I truly know the background and resume of that individual, I'm much more likely to trust the information I'm receiving. So all of this was very key. Through the research, we came to two main hypotheses. The first was specific to social media and the fact that the onset of social media has led to challenges in distinguishing the credibility of communication messaging, and has been made further difficult as a result of the influence of followership, likability, and prior familiarity that an individual's ability to seem qualified can be skewed. So that's what we were just discussing. Our second hypothesis was that in order to increase the reception of communication in the 21st century, leaders must require extensive training to present themselves as credible and likable within the online communications. And I really think they're tied together. So by learning how to hone the skills of determining credibility, we will be further exposed to what can sometimes trick us or catch our attention, and use some of those skills, but in an authentic, character-driven way in order to influence those around us. So those were our two key hypotheses. So as a proposal, and you'll see this on the screen behind me, I really felt, especially because of my current role in my company, that it would be a very good idea to conduct the research and learn more about this topic in a way that would be applicable. So in addition to continuing the research paper on this topic and vetting it out in additional detail, our goal was to create a training and development program that could actually be used within the workplace. So what we've actually done is we've done a soft development of the program for this proposal. We have created a three-pronged training program that consists of the PowerPoint seen behind me, which has facts, background information on the key importance of the training. We also are going to have, and actually have already hosted, some small group sessions with the individuals in the training program that will allow them to discuss key talking points and really bring to light some of the activities that we're doing. And then we're going to have, and have hosted, some verbal group simulations and things of that nature to get them thinking about different scenarios. So the proposal is this 2-hour within the workplace training and development program. The subject group was a group of 15 individuals. We did a survey to 15 individuals that we felt were the strongest out of a larger pool of 50. That gave us a diverse group to work with. We wanted to make sure we didn't just have one specific age group or one specific length of history within the industry. And then what we would like to do is, based off of some of the findings from this soft delivery of the training program, we would love to continue this and hone it in a way that we could actually have very practical applications for the program. So we actually utilized a training room at a financial company very similar to this one, where we had the ability to share this material with 15 individuals, pose the discussion questions in small groups, all of that information, and ultimately within the paper that we will be submitting, some of the results of those findings were included. Ultimately, it seemed as though simply getting conversation going and forcing people to really think through something that normally is automatic really was a driving force for some very key growth in that area. So those are the key details in regards to our proposal. We really would like to continue to vet this out in order to build upon what we've developed thus far for a training and development program as it relates to determining the credibility of online news sources, and then ultimately developing your own personal skills. So as a leader in the 21st century, we're about to start 2020, while things are moving in a direction that communication is going to have a tendency to be online a significant amount of time within the workplace, individuals need to feel empowered and that they have the skills necessary to display authenticity, core leadership, credibility, confidence, all of that. So thank you for giving us the opportunity today to share a little bit of this with you. We're looking forward to submitting everything within our overall digital portfolio, and I really appreciate your consideration as it relates to our Capstone Project.